Hello and welcome back. Um, it's me, Lex. Hi everyone. Just thought I'd have a little fun there for a second. So today I want to talk about something that has been on my mind for quite a while, and I think I've finally found a way to put some words to my thoughts. So here goes. Um, the idea I want to discuss today is dehumanization, which basically means stripping someone of their humanity. Humanity, sorry. Now, there are many reasons why we as people do this. The most extreme example I can think of dehumanizing someone is maybe not the most extreme, but the one that comes easiest to mind is during times of war, soldiers dehumanize the enemy because it's a lot easier to do your duty as a soldier if the person you take out doesn't have to. Okay, let me pause and stop because me using euphemisms is actually dehumanizing. Let me just be real. So, as a soldier, it's easier to kill the person in front of you if you don't see them as human, if you see them as other. Because if you think of them as human, then you have to come to terms with the fact that you're a human being as well. And I'm guessing that most soldiers don't think of themselves as people who like to kill people. And so then they'd have to reconcile. I have to wait a minute. I'm not a killer, but I have to kill this person, and that's a lot to wrestle with. So they dehumanize that person so that they can follow or so that they can do what they're supposed to do. Now, the example that I want to talk in more depth about today is not as extreme, but I think it's can be just as damaging, if not more so. And that example of dehumanization is one that I see a lot, especially since I discovered that I was trans and came out and started this journey. And I came out around probably right in the middle of Caitlyn Jenner coming out as trans, and so it was like December of last year. And I'm gonna be completely honest. When she came out and everyone was making a big spectacle of it, and then I came out right after that. I had several people ask me if I had come out because of Caitlyn Jenner, and after I saw the spectacle she was making, I was like, oh, maybe I should retract. That's maybe I shouldn't do this. And then I realized that I have got to be me regardless of what she's doing. Um, well, what I did see that disturbed me right away was the tendency that people had to say things like, I'm not calling her Caitlyn and I'm calling her all these names because I don't like her. They would go from, like, I think she's an idiot. Um, I think she's a horrible person, and they would conflate characteristics that they thought they understood about her and didn't like about her with her being trans, and that was really disturbing to me, um, because you can completely despise someone for how they behave without attacking their identity. Um, that's actually called when you attack someone's identity instead of attacking, you know, their instead of attacking their stance on something is an ad hominem, and people have done that a lot with Caitlyn Jenner, and I find it disturbing for two reasons. The first is that, well, okay, let me back up. Let me just say that first of all, whatever you want to say about Caitlyn Jenner, however you feel about how she did this and whether or not what her reasons for doing it, all of that stuff, however you feel about all of that stuff, I'm going to employ a phrase here that my best friend likes to use. and I think it's very appropriate here. It's called "You Don't Get a Vote." What I mean is, you don't get a vote on how somebody else gets to live their life. Do I wish she was a better example for the LGBT community and specifically the trans community? Yes, I do. Do I wish that she wasn't Republican? Yeah, I do. Um, that doesn't give me the right to dismiss her humanity. That doesn't give me the right to insult her and shame her and all of those things. I don't get a vote on how she lives her life. I don't get a vote on how she expresses her gender identity. You don't get a vote on those things either. Um, so back to what I was saying originally. The first reason that people treating her this way disturbs me is because it's not that far from saying, "Oh well, it's okay to say this about Caitlyn Jenner because she has money, because she has status." You start saying that about her, and then I start to wonder, if you could say that about Caitlyn Jenner, what's to stop you from taking that attitude towards non-famous trans people? What's to stop you from taking that attitude towards other minority groups, people with disabilities or people with, and it might seem like I'm committing a slippery slope fallacy. And I will admit that it's possible. I'm not saying like, oh my God, if you start with her, then you just treat everyone that way. What I'm saying is it can be really hard to check that once you started on that slope, once you started down the slippery slope of justification of your actions, it can be really hard to stop that. And so what I'm asking is that you as individuals sort of check yourselves and be like, and ask yourselves, um, am I actively dehumanizing her? Why am I doing it? And how can I not do that anymore? Now, if you don't want to do that work and you don't want to check yourself and stand as an ally to the trans community, and I don't know, stand as an ally to humanity and as a whole. You don't want to do that. That's fine. Just get the hell out of the way and let the people who do want to do that. Because you're not helping them, you're making them look bad. So don't call yourself an ally if you're going to do that, and you're making the communities that they're supporting look bad. So yeah, just get to stepping, as they say, if you're going to be one of those people who doesn't want to examine their stance on Caitlyn Jenner and how you talk about her and how you refer to her and how that might impact the larger trans community. Because I think I read an article the other day where a guy made a really really good point, and he said the backlash that people direct at Caitlyn Jenner for her choices, they are hurting her because she's shielded from so much of it. Those things that people say, those aren't hurting her because she doesn't have to really deal with it. It's hurting the non-famous trans community. It's hurting the non-famous LGBT community. So if you want to be a person who throws and hurls insults at her, just remember that that stuff's not hitting her. It's reflecting off of her and coming back and hurting us. So do me a favor, stop it. Stop it. And just it's look, it's easy. It's easy to look at somebody you don't know, and it's easy to look at somebody whose lifestyle and whose choices you don't understand and to point the finger. It's easy to criticize. Um, I've been guilty of it myself. I'm not gonna lie, but it doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help the person you're criticizing. It doesn't help the world around you. So I guess today, I implore you to think about this issue through a slightly different lens. Think about this issue as though Caitlyn Jenner were somebody that you cared about. Because because you never know. You may meet someone someday who's trans, or you may already know someone who's trans. For those of you who know me, the next time you find yourself wanting to denigrate Caitlyn Jenner, think of me and ask yourself, would you say those things to me? If you wouldn't, then don't let yourself say them about her. And if you would, then we need to have a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But just exercise humanity, guys. The world is already crazy and effed up enough. Just exercise humanity. Be decent people. Come on. Come on, guys. We can do this, right? Of course we can. Peace.